Good morning, guys. Hey, this is Dr. Levy, and I want to welcome you to 2015. This is our first real video blog of the year, and what I want to share with you is my why. Why am I a chiropractor? I mean, does it really matter? Last year about this time, we started out with the idea that, hey, if I didn't tell you what I know, if I don't share with you what I know, you're not going to get it. And I want you to get the very best care you can get. I want you to be the healthiest. I want your family to be the healthiest it's ever been. And I want to see that vibrancy in everything that you do. I want to share in your story. So today what I want to do is share with you my story. How did I get here? Why chiropractic, for example? And there is a story. And it's long and complicated, so I'm not going to bore you with all that. I'll just hit the highlights. When I was young, my mother always said to me, hey, you know what? You're fascinated by the human body. I bet you're going to be a doctor. Maybe an obstetrician. Maybe a pediatrician. And I was kind of a sickly kid, I had allergies and asthma and those kind of things, bronchial asthma and some issues. So, and all I ever got was medicine. But it never made sense to me. It never connected with me. I knew everything there was to know about antibiotics, at least I thought I did. And, so every time my mother said that, I'd kind of look at her and go, no, I don't like what doctors do. It doesn't make sense to me. My body's made to heal from the inside out. I think I should concentrate on that. I remember an opportunity. I used to take my grandmother to church on Sundays, as a young man, and I remember she had rheumatoid arthritis really bad in her hands. She was very uncomfortable. I remember sitting beside her that one Sunday morning and thinking to myself, what if I could just reach over there? What if there was some way that I could reach over there and take that from her today? I wish I could do that. I think there's people that do that. I saw this movie, Karate Kid, you remember it? And Mr. Miyagi slapped his hands, he rubbed them together, and somehow we were able to go on in the fight in the movie. And the knee worked better, and I don't understand that. But I was like, people know how to do that. There is somebody out there who knows how to do that kind of thing. And then, of course, I was a swimmer. And being a competitive swimmer, shoulder injuries are common. And, I had a coach who used to assess athletes' shoulders. I'm like, well, I need to learn how to do that. And then he would, give them an exercise or two and they would be able to perform better. Or he would recommend some kind of care for them. They would follow through, maybe with an orthopedist. So I was fascinated by that. But I'm like, wait a minute, there's something more out there to that, isn't there? So, I went on as a swimmer and was fascinated with the human body and fascinated with form and function and posture and alignment. And many of you know I lifeguarded right here in Myrtle Beach. And, I got this 35-pound steel bar that I need to dig a hole to plant my umbrella, basically umbrella farmer, right? Well, imagine doing that 60 umbrellas a day. 70 umbrellas a day, 35 pounds, bam, and you rock that bar back and forth and then carry the umbrellas to and from their storage box and plant them in the ground. I did that every day, sometimes twice a day. And the truth is, I hurt my back doing that. And with my background in posture and biomechanics and, physical performance, I said, I'm going to try to rehabilitate my back. It was bad. You ever had your back go out? Where you had this shooting pain, that was searing pain that just simply, you could not function, you couldn't straighten up, you couldn't get off the floor. In fact, one of the times when my back went out, I bent over to pick up a pair of tennis shoes. I'll never forget it. I got those tennis shoes in my hand and I could not stand up. My knees buckled, I fell to the floor, I looked across my apartment floor at the telephone. We didn't have cell phones, and telephones across the room. And I literally looked at that phone and said, I'm not going to make it to the phone today. I laid on the floor for the next several hours, basically face down, trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I was in tears. See, my father's had a bad back. He's had surgery in his spine, and I knew what that was for him. Every other year in traction. And it just wasn't better for him. And I thought, is that me? Is that what I'm facing? How is this going to be okay? I've got to go to work on Monday, and I'm not really sure I can get up to go to the bathroom right now. This was a bad time. Somehow I limped through for about 2 to 3 weeks, as I recall, and it was horrible. I just stand there on the pool deck watching my kids swim, going, normally I'd be walking up and down this pool, but I cannot move. Slowly it would subside, and I convinced myself I could rehabilitate it myself. I'm strong enough, smart enough, I know what to do. I'm going to do it. I couldn't figure out how the drugs are going to help me. What's pain medicine going to do? Just pain, mask of pain. I'm injured. I've sprained my back. The ligaments and tendons of my back are sprained and injured. I've got radiating pain through my hips. I've got a pinched nerve. My bowels don't move. My gut is so locked up. The muscles in my stomach are so tight, I simply can't go to the bathroom. And I am not good. I could not figure out how medicine was going to help that. Maybe they relax the muscles. Maybe get some inflammation out. But the problem I instinctively knew, was the bone is out of place. The disc is moved. Something's not right. And until that gets right, I will not be right. I knew that. So I toughed it out. Every couple of months, this thing would happen again. I'd work really, really hard to get my health back, get my physique back, get my function back, get my mind back, because, most of the time I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to call. I didn't have, I wasn't making a whole lot of money, I didn't have a whole lot of insurance available. So I didn't know where to do, what to go. Anyway, I saved up one year. I saved up for a whole year to go on a scuba trip to Mexico. I'll never forget it. And I had determined, I am not going to let this thing get me down. I'm going to do everything I can. I can't tell you how many hours I spent in the gym working on this one thing. Making sure that my spine was capable. I was not going to have problems on this trip. I was going to go and have an experience of a lifetime on this trip. I saved thousands of dollars for this. I'll never forget it. We got there. I wasn't there 24 hours. Got up, beautiful morning, said, you know what? I'm going to go work out in the gym. Nice and easy workout, just like I always do. That's going to set me up for a great day here in Cancun. And I went, and I wasn't in that gym 5 minutes. In a movement I always do, I've done 1,000 times. For some reason, I don't know what it was, my back went out. The lightning bolt shot through both sides of my hips. I had spasms in my hamstrings and in my erector spinae. I simply broke out in sweats. It took everything I had just to get back to my hotel room. I spent the next 7 days using my hands to get out of bed. Using my hands just to get moving. I had no scuba trips. I sat by the pool, had a good time, but not the one I had planned. At all. I was scared, because this time was worse than any time before. It seems like they were getting worse, these episodes. A friend of mine whose mother works for a chiropractor, has worked for a chiropractor for many years, heard about this, and called me up and insisted that I go to the chiropractor. And I said, well, I don't know what they do. I'm scared. I don't have any money. I've got a little bit of insurance. I really don't know what they do. I just know that I cannot allow that to happen ever again, because one of these times, as bad as this one was, one of these times I may not get up again. No, really. I need to do something. And I said, what's a chiropractor do? What do they know? I don't even know what a chiropractor is. I don't even know how to spell it. I'm going to go and what if he doesn't do a physical exam? I expect him to do a physical exam at best, right? I'm getting up. I'm leaving. And what if he doesn't take x-rays? Well, he must not be serious. So I'm not staying. I'm leaving. If he tries to do something with me but doesn't take the time to look at all these tests and experiences and to figure out the problem and to help me understand it, I'm not staying. I had 1,000 excuses for quitting, but I had only one to stay in. I got to get better. This is not working. What I'm doing is not working. So I went. Nice guy. Had pictures on the wall. Never forget it. Pictures on the wall of Ironman triathlons working on athletes in Kona, Hawaii. Now I know a little bit about triathletes. As I said, many of you know I was a swimmer. Well, I've had my experience with performance athletics. So I knew immediately. I started asking questions. But he said, we're going to do a physical exam today. We're going to find out exactly what's causing the problem. And I'm going to take some x-rays, he said, and I'm going to show them to you. Okay? So, though I wanted to do something that moment, I knew that he needed time to check it all out. Check me out. And so I was willing to go home, limp home, and do the things I'd always done. A little ice, a little rest, a little stretch. I came back and he showed me that x-ray. He said, Alan, your problem's right here. And he pointed right at it. He says, you can see the bone is out of place. It's pinching the nerve. But not only that, because it's out of place, the ligaments and soft tissues around your spine have been injured. They're sprained. I know how to fix that, he said. And I knew it. He had confidence in his voice. He understood what was going on. And I decided, all right, Doc, I'm in. Please help me. And so I laid down on the table and he began to work with me. And before I know, within about 2 or 3 days, I knew I had made a great decision. Because I started getting my life back. I started to feel better. I had more range of motion. I could touch my toes again. I could move again. I could run and work out like I used to without fear that my back was going to go out. My bowels, that muscle tightness, that spasm in my gut started to relax. Thank you. I can't tell you what a relief for my body to start functioning again properly. And then, I started asking questions. I'm like, man, if this thing is working so good for me, if it's working so good for me, what would it do for my athletes? How many of my athletes have injuries, muscle spasms, adhesions, pinched nerve? How many of them are so injured they can't perform at their best? I started asking questions. I was like, man, tell me about posture. You work with posture. I work with posture. You got to have a certain kind of posture to swim fast in the water. He said, really? I said, yeah. And I know that. And you work with it every day. How can I pick your brain? I said. He kind of put me off for a little while. But then one day he says, Wednesday mornings I've got some time. Would it be okay if I came out to the pool and worked with your kids a little bit? So I talked to the parents about it. And he came out and all he did was muscle work. He said, chiropractic's for my office, but here I can help them with some muscle work on the deck and you and I can talk. I said, okay. Every single one of those athletes showed improvements in their heart rates, and the ability to recover after bouts of exercise. Every single one of them. Every single one of them got out of the water and said, Doc, I don't know what he's doing, but I feel better. I can rest and recover faster. As a result, I can swim faster through the workout and the set. I started to see range of motion improving in shoulders, these butterfly shoulders. You see, I coached a lot of butterflyers in those days. And I could see things happening in them I had not seen before in their skill and their technique. And I was feeling better too. A lot better. The more questions I asked, the more smile, the bigger Dr. Farley's smile got. I'll never forget it. And he looked at me one day. He said, Alan, you're a chiropractor. You just don't know it. You always have been. See, the thing made sense to me. You know, the form and function are one. The body is self-regulating, self-healing. You can heal from the inside out. You just have to be in a position to do so. And that conversation started me on the path to where I am today. On a path to go to Logan College of Chiropractic in St. Louis, Missouri, which I never thought I would do, is go back to school. Spent 5,000 hours in postgraduate study. I spent an entire semester cramming prerequisites so that I could get caught up fast enough to start school. That meant 2 semesters of organic chemistry and 2 semesters of physics shoved into one semester all at the same time. Who does that? I did it because I was on a mission to learn everything that I needed to know to do that thing that was done for me, that saved my life. It gave me my life back. I know it. And what I learned while I was at school and experienced, I've been able to experience and learn from and grow from right here in this office. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people's lives changed. People that were scared. They didn't know where to turn. You know, when they walk in the door the first time, most people are so scared they don't know what to expect. They just know they're broken. They know something's wrong and that they need help. They're desperate for help. That's the truth. Just like Dr. Farley did for me, I do for them. We're going to do a physical exam. We're going to find out exactly what's wrong. And we're going to come up with a strategy to help you heal, to put your body back into a position where it can heal and recover. Not cover up the problem, not manage the problem, but put you into a position of healing so that miracles can happen every day. And we see that right here in this office. My wife and my children are healthy by choice, not by chance. Our patients are choosing to be healthy. And I know you will too. I know that's what you want. We all want. We want to be pain-free. I get it. You know? If you're sick, you want to heal. And if you're wise, you recognize that staying healthy, a little preventative work, proactively taking care of your health, joining the wellness revolution. If you're wise, you know that matters. And the truth is, I got something for you too. Because we're not sickness care. And that's what appealed to me. So when my mother asked, why are you a chiropractor? I say this every time. Because medicine is about sickness maintenance and sickness care. Chiropractic is about health and healing. I'd rather use my hands to help you grow well, to put you on the path to healing, than to medicate and cover up the symptoms. It's that simple. So, guys, if you knew what I knew, you'd do what I do. Come see us sometime.